Prime Minister Modi attacks Congress over unfulfilled poll promises amid Shakti Rao says Congress fake promises exposed in front of people. India-China begins coordinated patrolling in Demchok in eastern Ladakh. Arvind Sawant booked for imported remark on China NC. Donald Trump vows to protect Hindu Americans and slams violence against Hindus in Bangladesh. Congress accuses Election Commission of bias, threatens legal action over Haryana poll issue. Bomb blast outside a girls' school in Pakistan kills 7, including 5 students. Israel pounds Lebanon, Gaza after US truce push. Death toll from Spanish floods rises to 205 as residents appeal for aid. Indian man held from Ontario for firing outside singer AP Dhillon's house. Welcome to On Point, and in this edition, in the first On Point, we are going to talk about the stinging tweet from Prime Minister Modi on the row that is taking place in Karnataka. I'm talking about the row which made Malik Arjun take a strong objection to the state leaderships, openly saying things and paper quoting them. But before I get into that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a strong attack on the Congress party on the issue of guarantees. Prime Minister alleged that the Congress makes promises that they cannot keep. Prime Minister in his tweet said that the Congress stands badly exposed in front of the people. Prime Minister Modi responded in context to the statement made by the Congress leaders on the Shakti Scheme. Prime Minister said that the fiscal health of the Congress-ruled states is poor. He said that the existing schemes are getting diluted and promises are not being kept. Prime Minister said that in Karnataka, Congress is busy in loot, and in Himachal, they have not been able to pay salaries on time. He said that the promised allowances in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan could not be fulfilled. This attack becomes important in context of Maharashtra and Jharkhand elections, where Rahul Gandhi is expected to announce fresh set of guarantees. And it is in this context of the politics of guarantee that the Prime Minister has come out with this tweet. And these 3 sets of tweets is a direct attack on the politics of guarantees which tasted success in Himachal and which again tasted success in the Lok Sabha election. Though the guarantees did not work well in Haryana, but the Bharatiya Janata Party also understands that the politics of Labharti is having a toll on the entire gamut of politics in this country. So I will play out the bite of K.C. Venugopal, which is in response to the tweet of the Prime Minister, and then the original 1 minute, entire 1 minute clip from the press conference where Siddaramaiah, Malik Arjun and DK sitting together and talking about an issue which should have been discussed in private.
No, nothing is there. Karnataka, we are implementing in a greater way. Anybody can check. We are implementing our promises. That is a clear, real model of Congress promises. In Karnataka, whatever we promised, we are implementing. Anybody can examine it. गलत बात है प्राइम मिनिस्टर का भाषण.
ಈಗ ನೀವು 5 ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ? 5. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ 5 ನೋಡಿ ನಾನು 5 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿನಿ. ಈಗ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ 5 ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ, ನೀ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಒಂದು ಕೈ ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಿ ಇವತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೈ ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಓದ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಪೇಪರ್. ನಾವು ಪೇಪರ್ನಾಗ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪೇಪರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಯ್ತು ಕೇಳಿ, ಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೌಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಹೇಳ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನುಕರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದಾಗ ಯಾವುದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದೆ 5, 6, 10, 20 ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇದೆ ಆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಗಳು ಕೊಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿಗಳು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದಿವಾಳಿ ಎದ್ದು ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಬಟ್ಟಿ ಮಣ್ಣು ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಸಡಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಫೇಲ್ ಆದರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಏನೂ ಇಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ ನೀವು.
So an all-out war before Maharashtra and Jharkhand goes to poll. And tonight on this, I'm joined by Ajit Jha, senior journalist, Arun Anand, author, journalist and an ideologue. All three rolled into one. Professor Prasanajit Biswas, Professor of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, and input editor of News9, Brijesh Pandey. Let me straight away go to Ajit. Ajit, first there was not a spat, but sort of in an open condemnation, or sort of a pull-up by the Congress president that what is being published in the newspaper is being perceived by people. And subsequently, K.C. Venugopal's comment on it, and then the Prime Minister's tweet. Do you think that BJP has made the issue of guarantee a theme in Maharashtra election, with Prime Minister coming out?
Yeah, well, yes, of course, because Congress has gone ahead, as the Congress president himself said it in a public place, that we are going to copy the sort of Karnataka model in Maharashtra of the 5 guarantees, right? Now, this whole controversy about the bus scheme, the free bus scheme for women, I don't think they have changed the policy yet. It seems about, now they are claiming that 5 to 10% women said, we will pay. And over that, I think Shiv Kumar, off the cuff perhaps, made a remark which seemed as if they might be considering rolling that back. But then later on, Siddaramaiah did not agree. So obviously, there's a bit of rethink to some extent. You know, these are schemes which cost the government a huge, major amount. But I think this open statement by Congress president was rather silly, because it gives Prime Minister Modi, who's very sharp after hearing such a thing, he sort of pulled it up and said, well, Congress is not performing. But let me point out something else, Karthike. This is not overall, you know, we don't have assessment of the bus scheme, but overall, Karnataka is right now one of the top performers in the country. In fact, I was just looking at Sanjeev Sanyal's paper, where he has taken all the states together and he's assessing long-term period till end of last year. And Karnataka, surprisingly, has come out right on top. So I think this picture, I don't know, this particular scheme, there has been no objective assessment, but Karnataka's performance at this moment is right on top with some other southern states like Telangana, by the way, also ruled by Congress, Karnataka ruled by Congress, and with Tamil Nadu. These are the 3 top states that are being considered in the country right now. So my point is this, when the Prime Minister says that the Congress-ruled states are not doing very well, that's not true by Sanjeev Sanyal, who is his economic advisor. His paper, it's the Prime Minister's has given approval for this entire paper that Sanjeev Sanyal has written. So I don't think the data there is showing what the Prime Minister is saying when he's saying that Congress-ruled states are
so
not
performing. Basically, you're saying it's less economy, more politics, Brijesh?
I think, what they did was completely unwarranted. It's like it was very clear the way Malik Arjun Khadge went about it is that he wanted to embarrass both Siddha as well as DKS on a public platform. And there's nothing else I can, would be my takeaway from the entire press conference. The way, the kind of language he was speaking, it looked like as if, someone from the BJP or any other opposition party is sitting there and admonishing and giving them a crash course in how to shore up the financial position of the state government and not announce those kind of freebies. With elections in Maharashtra and Jharkhand literally round the corner, less than 15-20 days left, why would the national president, I think, the only question I would want to understand is why would the national president of the Congress party would make a statement, that too in open, pulling up the chief minister and the deputy chief minister, where they too had to retort just to make sure that they don't come across looking absolutely silly. It's completely, at least I can't figure out why he had to say this.
But I was going through data. A lot of papers have reported that the Telangana government is mulling liquor hike because they are expected to see some sort of a revenue deficit. So my question to Arun Anand is, Arun, do you think that the politics of welfare or Labharti, freebie, Revdi is back again?
Karthikeya, thank you for inviting me on the show. I think, a key question, there are two things. One is that the statement which has been given, I just want to address that question also. That I think there is a leadership issue in Congress. As Malik Arjun Khadge was saying that he read it in the newspapers and then he's responding to the newspaper reports. So it seems that he was not communicated the proposed move by Karnataka government or by DK Shiv Kumar to Malik Arjun Khadge. So it seems, Malik Arjun Khadge might be the Congress president, but most of the Congress stalwarts probably do not consider him to be their leader and just consider him to be a president on the paper. Now, coming to the freebies thing, see, there is a very fine, I think, what we have done, there is a very fine line between subsidies and freebies. So, just to creating Labharthis, creating a constituency of Labharthis through subsidies is not a bad thing. But converting that, these subsidies have to stop somewhere. And also there has to be a broad criteria where you give these, subsidies to certain people who fall in certain categories. But just to increase I think the way Congress and other political parties witness that how the impact of the Labharthis has benefited the Bharatiya Janata Party. So they have increased the ambit of that and they have converted those subsidies into freebies. That it is there for everybody, like in Karnataka or even in Delhi, the free transport services for all women. So even those who can afford it. So that goes against the fundamentals of economics, which believes in differential pricing for different categories. So I think we need to recreate this line where there are subsidies and there are freebies. We should not be going for freebies. The Reserve Bank of India, it comes out annually with the State of Finances report. If you look at these reports over the last couple of years or 2, 3, 4 years, you will see that they have categorically said, and it's not only about the Congress-ruled states, they have categorically said that all the states who are giving freebies, so their state finances are going down the drain. So I think we need to look at it in a larger perspective.
If I tell you the data, Prasanajit, before I come to you, all the states have some sort of a deficit. For example, Andhra Pradesh is 3.8%. If you look at West Bengal, it's also at 3.8%. But if you look at some states like Tripura, it's more than 5%. If you look at the state of Karnataka, it's 2.5%. If you look at Himachal, it's 4.6%. If you look at the state of Bihar, it's 3%. So it's not as if that some states have done fabulously. The overall data of RBI says that all states have some sort of a deficit issue. They're grappling with the deficit issue. Prasanajit.
Yes. If I may say that, there is a certain kind of a welfare measure that creates a multiplier effect in the economy. If free services are provided at the basic level, especially to capable women, workforce, then what happens is that it creates a larger aggregate demand that opens up the scope of business and investment, especially investors who are waiting for the demands. If there is no demand in the market, investment level will never rise. Now, going by that, every budget leaves a certain amount of deficit to create aggregate demand. If the budgeting is a surplus budgeting, then there will be rather a deflationary impact on the economy. So control the inflation and control differential pricing. Both are to be maintained. So going by that, Karnataka free bus service actually empowered a lot of women. Now that Shivkumar was saying 5 to 10% women may pay back after 3 years of the services running free is a welcome development. It's not really because Karnataka is suffering from a huge deficit. The deficit is to the tune of 7,600 crores, let's say, going by the revised estimate this year. But this deficit is going to be filled up by the larger amount of aggregate demand, the multiplier effect that has been created in the job sector in Karnataka. Small jobs in MSME has risen in Karnataka by nearly 8%. So you can see that there is an upswing in the job market because of these free services given to the workforce who deserve it. Therefore, I don't see much of a problem at this moment in terms of deficit in the state finances. Now, once such deficits are becoming larger, of course, RBI has to step in. It has to bring its own instruments of control so that there is more responsible budgeting, responsible revenue collection, and deficit could be minimized, but not at the cost of shrinking the aggregate demand. Therefore, I don't see much of a problem at this. The political debate that has happened, it is because whether Maharashtra should be given similar 5 guarantee by the India bloc or not. In that, there may be some internal debate. And that internal debate is reflected in what Congress President was admonishing to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and mildly toning it down to when he was speaking to Deputy Chief Minister, if one understands Kannada language. Therefore, I don't see that Congress party is divided. It is also a response to BJP's heightened Eknath Shinde kind of politics, where a lot of free buy is given. You know, the utensils, pressure cooker are given. People are given a lot of cash gift as well in Maharashtra just before the election. The new scheme for giving the unemployed young man and also to women is something that will put huge pressure on the exchequer to the tune of 78,000 crore or so. That's what Ajit Pawar was saying. And he didn't sign that. But still, Eknath Shinde went on with it. So states have certain capacities, and these capacities can be now put for generating more aggregate demand, for giving more money into the pockets of the citizen. I think it's a welcome step. And in the electoral process, the electorate will actually judge them to what extent a state will be able to manage the promises. If they are not able to manage the promises, they will not get the votes. So that's a kind of a welcome political challenge which these people have undertaken on their own shoulder. And revenue deficit can be met up by creating larger aggregate demand, by opening up industrial sector, agricultural sector, MSME sector. So many sectors could be opened up in states like Maharashtra and Karnataka. Okay. Therefore, it's not going to create a major financial crisis in both the states of Maharashtra.
So, Ajit, so it's a big crisis or it's a crisis in a teacup, you know? Because, you know, Prasannaji came out with a lot of details, you know. He had a lot of data on his hand. So is it a crisis in the teacup or it's a real issue which the Prime Minister is going to hang on to?
No, I think it's not a crisis. Look, it's simple economics. If your growth is higher, and as our other panelists said, if the aggregate demand is increasing, then what is the problem with public debt? You can always offset it. It's like borrowing from the future. So as long as you maintain a high growth rate, which Karnataka is, by the way, Karnataka's growth rate is more than 10.5%, much higher than the rest of the country, much higher than most of the states. So, and Karnataka is one of the top industrial states of the country. So I think these crises, as you said, in a teacup, always emerge when there is an election nearby. Prime Minister has to attack Congress, the Congress party has to attack the BJP. So this is
And
what
then I
we
think
call
in a way you are
the
agreeing with
silly season
Brijesh. You are agreeing with Brijesh. These are the poor habits of the Congress leader, where the conversation is taking in public, whereas it should have taken place inside
was
their drawing
totally
rooms.
silly. I think Malik Arjun Kharge was very silly in saying this right out in the open between two factions of Congress. And, it shows that either Malik Arjun Kharge is getting a bit too old. Maybe, he's been running the party, and because right now after Haryana, the mood is down. So I think he should be more careful. I mean, Kharge has been a great leader in the past, but remember his age. I mean, openly discussing all this right in front of the media, Brajesh was right. What the hell was he doing?
Okay. I'll take a closing comment from Arun, because there's another debate on point 2. Do you think, Arun, that the Prime Minister is going to stick to it, or is going to pass? Because this is coming at the very close to Maharashtra elections, where political parties are going to announce their set of guarantee schemes, welfare, Labharti politics, whatever they call it, from whichever side they would see it.
I think he is going to stick to it, though it might not be the flagship, kind of a campaign by BJP. There might be some other issues, because at different stages of election campaigning, different issues, are raised, and they also take a feedback from the ground that whether this issue is creating enough buzz or enough, then if that issue is not creating enough buzz, then that issue takes a backseat. That continues to be part of the narrative, but then something else, can be taken up. For example, probably, batenge to katenge, or Hindu unity. So it might, kind of override this thing. But I think overall, this debate must continue, because it seems to be, good politics, but probably in the long run, it is bad economics.
In long run, it's bad economics. That's what Arun Anand has to say. But I think the bottom line, my takeaway is that, anything you discuss in front of the press, obviously it's like giving a sort of a loose ball to your opponent. And I think that's what the Prime Minister has done. He's taken the loose ball. Maybe this was not an issue if not discussed in front of the press by the president of a national party. And the fact that it got discussed, the Prime Minister took it up. And obviously, why not? Because the elections in Maharashtra, Jharkhand, 10 assembly elections, 10 or 9, Brijesh? I think 10 assembly seats are going in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, 9.
9 assembly seats in Uttar Pradesh, and the Wayanad seat in Kerala. A lot is at stake, and that is the momentum is at stake. And if someone rests all these seats, then that person will have momentum for another 2 years. So this is all in the on point 1. Please do not go away, because in on point number 2, I will talk about the politics of unity mein hai safe hum. What did Prime Minister mean when he said that? Why has Yogi Adityanath said, batenge to katenge? Is it something new or something old? Or is it a new template of the BJP, or this is part and parcel, something very old, foundational, which is in context of larger reorganization of the Hindu society? But after a short break.